we are off to the doctor. Oh jeez, this isn't gonna work.
Ow.
We're recording.
For what? You doing a little
We're rolling.
Okay.
Just in case. What if this is the last time? So, we're on the way. We're gonna go to the doctor, to the center, and get a plan of what's next for baby number 3. So, take you guys along on this third journey. Because we missed
Part
the first
3.
2.
The sequel to the sequel.
Part 3. And if you can't tell, we're month of December, Christmas.
It's cold.
And it's cold. So we'll see you later to update. Alright, we just left and we have a slight plan. Tomorrow we've got to go back and get blood work done, which we found out for the second time, I think, when we were trying to get pregnant with Honor. We didn't know why Brandon had to get blood work, if it was going to be like frozen embryo transfer, but it's required by law. So he's gonna get blood work, I have blood work, and then after that, tomorrow too, I'm gonna have an ultrasound done just to check things out. And then I've got to wait for my period and schedule an HSG, which I've had done twice before. That's painful. But also now I'm getting an hysteroscopy. I can't, those words are so hard.
Oh, yeah.
Hysteroscopy.
You get it.
HSC. So I have an HSG and an HSC. The HSG is the dye one again, and then with a balloon, he mentioned this time. And then the HSC is they're going to take biopsies from 4 different areas in my uterus, and then also check, he said, the right and left tube again. And for those 2, at least I'll be sedated, which stinks, but at least I won't feel the pain of like the HSG again. So that's our little plan moving forward, and we don't have any other updates for now. It was blood work day. Tell them how many vials.
They got 2 vials from me.
Lucky I had 8 taken, so just have to wait for those 2 because mommy's talking.
Speak up.
Just have to wait for the results for those, and then I also had like my ultrasound done to, I guess, check out like my ovaries and everything like that. So we won't know the results for a long time. Alright, we have an update. It's December 17th today, and my period came as normal, which is good and bad. Good because we can move forward, bad because that just means we need to move forward, but it's okay. Brandon gave me like a good perspective. Leo is making so much noise because he got some catnip. But Brandon gave like a really good perspective I didn't even think about, because I've been bummed that we have to, go through the clinic again. But he said, what if it's just God's way of like wanting us to use another embryo instead of them they're sitting in a freezer bank. So that kind of helps me feel like a little bit better. I told him thank you for finding that perspective, because I didn't even consider that point. I was just bummed that we even have to go through this again, but I'm glad he found the bright side. Normally I can find the bright side. I couldn't in this. So found out that my procedure is going to be scheduled for the 26th, so the day after Christmas. And I, unfortunately, because of like the timing of the holidays and everything, I have to start a low dose birth control tonight, which, being like more natural and holistic now, I really didn't want to have to do that. But also we want another baby. But Brandon told me, it's up to me to do that or wait until the next month. And I'm ready. We've already waited over a year now. So I'm just gonna pray over my birth control and leave it in God's hands, pray over my body that I accept even a low dose well for probably 2 to 3 weeks. So my procedure is scheduled for the 26th, and I guess I'll just update when it comes time for that. I can't remember if I updated from the last appointment when Brandon and I both had blood work done, but as far as I can tell, like Dr. Google told me all of my levels look normal, at least again from what I can tell. I'm not the doctor, but I think after I have this procedure done, I'll be able to sit down and have like all the results from my blood work, all the results from the HSG and HSC, to see when we can finally put another embryo inside and hopefully have another baby. So that's my little update for today, and we'll find out after next week what happens. I definitely just remembered like something with the whole birth control thing. This is what happens with my mind, because hello, overanalyzer here. So I forgot to mention that the coordinator that called me, she had said that with doing the birth control, like for the next couple of days and then for a couple of weeks after the procedure, that there was no guarantee that next month the same thing wouldn't happen, where like I'd be waiting for a surgery to line up with like the ending of my period, and she couldn't guarantee that like I wouldn't have to do birth control next month either. So that's why, I just went ahead and said like, okay, let's just do it, because if I can already have it planned for this month and not have to worry about wondering next month whether or not I would have this same predicament, that's really the main reason why I said let's just go ahead and do it. All right, today is December 20th, and I just got done at the clinic signing my consent forms and just getting like all the information for next week for the procedure. Sorry. And feeling just super nervous because I have to go under, and that's not like a fun feeling, I guess. But something funny to come out of it is she's telling me how like the anesthesiologist needs like a clear nail to, I don't know, be able to do what they need to do. And one of the specific like recommendations on the letter is to remove dark sparkly nail polish. Guys, look. 2 for 2 with that one. But she was saying it's funny because telling people this time of year it's hard to, you know, get rid of one sparkly nail, but luckily enough this one started to peel last night in the shower, so I guess that's gonna be my one I work on for next week. I don't know what time my procedure is yet. They'll call me next week and let me know. Hopefully Monday, because Tuesday, Wednesday are Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and then Thursday is when my surgery is. So feeling nervous, but it's okay. I still have to continue the birth control right now, and they said that I'll be given an antibiotic while they're doing the procedure, which that one I understand because they're literally cutting something out of me, so need to make sure I'm clear and clean. So still just praying that everything, you know, goes well and nothing is like inadvertently affecting my body and, you know, the next steps that we're trying to take. So that's it. Check in with you, I guess, next week. All right. December 26th. I did it. Surgery is done. I just woke up from like a 2-hour nap, trying to sleep off anesthesia, so enjoy. But everything went well from what we know right now. The doctor came in afterwards and kind of showed me my tubes from the dye, and he said everything looked A+ there. And then he showed me where he took out like 4 pieces from my uterus, I think, to have biopsied, but those results will take about a week and a half to return. So I feel fine right now, just very tired, but thankfully Brandon and our friend have helped out with the kids, so that's been great. I guess I'll check back in another week and a half for our next steps. Update, it is January 3rd, 4th, I can't remember, one of those 2 days, but got my endometrial biopsy results back and everything is clear, so thank God nothing looks abnormal. And the next step is an appointment. I have it virtually this time on January 13th, I guess, to talk about next steps on hopefully transferring our frozen embryo, so we'll see then. But I'm just so thankful that everything came back normal, like my tubes and the biopsy, so that is great news. Update, it's January 13th and I just got off a video call with my care coordinator, which also was incredible to see her because she's the same person who like saw us through the first time when we went through like the full process of IVF beginning. And Brandon and I wondered like if she was still at the center and everything. So it was just so good to like see each other's faces, and like we were so happy to see each other and catch up. And then she was so sweet, like saying hi to the kids. So have a long list of like what we've got to do, and it's going to include like a lot more injections than I thought. One of them that I'm like the most scared for, because it's the one that I've just heard is like the most painful, and the first time around I didn't have to do like the shot of it. It was the suppository, but it's the progesterone. So a little bit nervous because there's going to be 2 shots for sure. I think there's a third one, and then I have a probiotic suppository I'll do and something else. And I do have to go back on birth control, which I've been off for like a week and felt good. So it's okay. I am praying and trusting like this is the plan God has for us, because things just keep like working out, and that's what I've asked for. Like if this is what he wants for us, like he's going to keep making a way for it to happen. So I've got lots of medications and protocols to start. She said luckily today, like I'm cycle day 4, so she's like, oh, we can start like today, get you back on the birth control, get things like moving and grooving, and then in a couple of days I think I'll be starting an injection, and then I'll have to go in for some ultrasounds and things like that. So I'm excited because there's a plan. I didn't ask for a date because the way things are like sounding, it's like I have to be monitored for about 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks later it'll be something else, and then do the transfer and gotta wait 2 weeks for a test. So I just know it's happening, and I'm gonna be at peace with that, and it'll be okay. So yeah, that's where things are at right now. I feel good, nervous because of all the medicines and shots, and hopefully like Brandon will be here for most of them, but I think I might have to do some solo, which I can be brave. I'll do it. But that's my little update, and I'll check back in when I have even more information. January 27th, check-in. Had my baseline ultrasound this morning to check like the lining of my uterus, and then check my ovaries and make sure everything's kind of chilled out on the birth control. And I got the call that everything is looking good. So just waiting to hear what my next steps are, because I also have all of my medications here and ready for the next steps. Ooh, it's bright and early, but excuse my voice, sick here. Yes, come say hi. Just did my first like shot this morning, the Lupron. Brandon did it bright and early before he left for work, so it didn't hurt, but I think if I remember from like the first time we did this, it will progressively like start to hurt or like burn as it goes in. So not looking forward to that, but like I didn't feel it today, at least while he did it. Maybe like as I came upstairs to lay down again, like I could feel like a little bit of burning, but honestly like a 0.5 out of 10, so really not that bad. So yeah, I think I have to do the Lupron at least at like this high dose for quite a few days. I want to say it's like 7 to 10 days. And then I'm happy because in a couple of days my birth control is done, so I can get off of that. And the nurse said that like my ultrasound results looked great, that my lining is very thick, so I had it reversed. It needed to like thicken up so that I can have one more period, and then come in and get some blood work done. So just waiting in a few days for my period and to go get some blood work and continue with my Lupron injections. All right, it's February 7th, I believe, and I went in this morning for an ultrasound and blood work for like my baseline. I'm on cycle day 2, so they still had to go in and check everything out. But I got the call that everything looks good and we can continue moving forward. So I've been doing at this point, well, Brandon has been administering like my Lupron for, I don't know, like 10 days now, it feels like. And thankfully, like, I haven't felt much pain or like bruising, and I was only bloated for like a couple of days, but now I think I'm back to normal. So that's been nice. But we got the approval to go ahead, and in 2 days we're going to start a del estrogen like intramuscular shot, which that's the one that's like in the gluteus. So thankfully Brandon, I think, is going to be able to go ahead and take care of that one as well. And that one's in the evenings while I do the Lupron in the mornings. And I think in about, 12 days after doing the timeline's weird, but 12 days after Sunday, I go in for another ultrasound to make sure that everything's looking okay, and then I could potentially be having my transfer the following week. So I think that falls into like the last week of February. Okay, left another appointment. This one was to check like my lining and make sure it's thickening up and ready for an embryo transfer. And good news is it looks perfect. The doctor's so funny. He gave me a souvenir, he said. I was like, well, this will be a before and after. So that's the before of my uterus. My transfer date is set for next Tuesday, so February 25th. And yeah, I think I'm gonna have to start progesterone shots soon. But honestly, like, Brandon's been doing it's called estradiol, like in my booty. I've had 4 shots now, and they haven't been like 2 that were kind of painful and 2 that weren't. So not as bad as I anticipated, but I don't know if the progesterone will be different. But good news is my body is ready. I feel great. Doctor says everything looks great, so hallelujah. Day 1 of progesterone shot. I had it done in the morning and it didn't hurt. I'm so glad. But I did just have to lay on the heating pad on that side for a little bit because like I'm starting to feel it tense up and like it's sore. So that makes me nervous because this is like a couple of weeks that I'll be doing these shots and alternating sides, but I'm assuming like it's just might get more uncomfortable. So a little bit nervous about that. But tomorrow morning is my last like Lupron injection in my stomach. So I'll have no more like stomach shots. But then I still have another shot that I'm doing like every 3 nights also in my glute. So I have like a morning shot. Every morning is the progesterone. And then every 3 days is like the estradiol in my buttocks at night also. So keep on trucking. Just wanted to do like a day 1 of the progesterone. Not as bad as I was anticipating. Brandon got like right in there really fast. So that was good. But yeah, that's it for now. Like day 5 check-in from progesterone shots. Me and this heating pad. So using this to like heat back here because it's sore. Like just constantly feels like I've worked out like my glutes. So massaging frequently and putting heat is what I'm doing to try to like keep the soreness down. And they're getting into hurting, but we're only 5 days in. Tomorrow I find out what time our transfer is on Tuesday. So. All right, it's transfer day. Today's February 25th, and I got my blood work done, and I just finished my transfer. Brandon got to watch the entire thing like in a little room, and then I saw it like obviously in front of me. And here's a little embryo that they transferred.
Yeah, that's our little embryo.
So sweet. So nothing, like I don't feel anything right now. They gave me a Valium, but I'm sure that'll kick in after my nerves chill out. But me and medicines that are supposed to chill me when I need to, my nerves are too high. So yeah. Everything's done. The doctor said 65% chance that this will take, which we're praying for that to be 100%.
Is that always the odds that they say?
I don't know. I don't remember him saying that last time.
I don't remember him saying that for our first one.
But that was a couple years ago, so.
Right.
Yeah, everything went well. It was easy, smooth. Like the nurses were really, really sweet. I think he had to like crack a joke that they've probably heard multiple times this morning just to make me laugh. because I read somewhere that like laughing can help before and some other things, and I was like, where is he going with this right now? And I was like, in my head I laughed, but I was like, I think he like has to do this just to help
ease the nerves and
things
stuff,
be
get
better.
you not so tight or whatever. So.
Yeah. So today's the 25th February, and our blood test to check for pregnancy will be on March 10th. So we've got a little bit of a wait, and I'm on like light duties for the next couple of days, but especially today. So we will check in on March 10th to find out the news.
Yay.
Yay.
I'm excited. You excited?
Excited.
So this whole time we're going to be praying. Hopefully it takes. The Lord cover her womb.
Amen.
Amen.
See you on March 10th. Today's March 10th, and I went in for blood work this morning, and I just got the call like a little bit ago that I'm pregnant. So I didn't think I was gonna cry again, but I am just so happy to be able to do this again. I feel nothing right now, so that's what's been like on me, is like thinking like, oh, should I feel something? But I think back to like when I was pregnant with Everly and knew I could be or couldn't be. I had no idea because I didn't feel anything, and then Honor was just like a surprise, so I really didn't feel anything that's so early. So I don't feel anything now. Everly has told me like twice in the last week, like touching my stomach and stuff and saying, Mommy, there's a baby in there. I'm like, how do you know? Why do you say that? She's like, my body told me you have a baby that's gonna grow in your belly. So the fact that she was saying that, and I was like, you're crazy. But she was right. Like, I am so happy. I am so grateful, thankful to God, thankful to my husband and our friends who have been helping us out. Like, with our appointments and stuff, Brandon's done all of my shots. I would not be able to. So I still have to continue on 2 of my medications. One of them is every morning, and then one is like every 3 nights. So continuing to do those. I go in for another blood draw on Wednesday to just make sure my levels are still climbing, but my nurse said my levels were like super high. And I remember Everly's numbers were like less than half of what she just gave me. So I'm like, wow, my body's really doing this and doing well so far. So grateful, thankful, and we're gonna have a 3rd baby. I'm so happy. Thank God.